From someone who a month from now looks at the box score and says, oh, 3-0, they're not going to think much of it, but obviously the people in the gym know. And you and I talked about this before, like that first set especially, even trickling into that second set, that was very competitive volleyball. And obviously there's highs and lows with every match or competition that you're going to go against. But just initial thoughts, reactions after that one.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this was to learn about ourselves, right? It's not the score. Yeah, I guess you keep score for a reason. And I told them going into the match, we want to win. Like make no mistake about it. But ultimately, when that match ends, or now that it's over, Central's going back to Mount Pleasant. We're going back to Marquette, right? And this doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is what you learned during that match. And dang, I mean, we competed so hard, And the first set, on fire. That gym was so cool to be around or be a part of and be inside of. And watching our girls kind of soak it in was really fun. And the thing I said, it was the second set I called timeout, is 15-15, or we were down 15-16. And I kind of dawned on me that, we haven't played a set in practice to 25 yet. Like we've only played sets to 15, right? And so we just haven't prioritized competing. We've prioritized getting better individually. And so it made sense that you would compete to 15 and then you'd kind of have a little bit of a drop off. And so do you make that as an excuse? No, but you identify that we need to be better conditioned for those moments, right? And so I kept saying in those timeouts at the end of the second set and then even in the third set, I was like, guys, next week, every time when you're frustrated because I'm making you work harder and for a longer amount of time, this is the exact moment that I'm talking about, right? Because you can see them in the timeouts, hands on their knees, taking deep breaths, like clearly not in as good of shape as they should be. And so that's the biggest takeaway I have from that. The other takeaway, truthfully, if you look at the beginning of set 1 and 2, is that we are capable of being great, right? We're not there yet, but there was enough evidence that come late October, early November, when those matches are incredibly important, I think we're going to be right in the mix, and so that's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely. You had a lot of great opportunities today to get some different looks at personnel and have like different groupings on the floor, different situations, and throwing a lot of new faces out there. Just kind of impressions on that and anything that surprised you in those different areas.
I think the thing that didn't surprise me, but always impresses me about this team is how supportive they are of each other, how much the returners are teaching the freshmen the different systems and stuff. Because again, we're only 4 days of practice in, and you can see the returners are interested in being the best team possible, right? It doesn't matter if we're competing for a position. If someone makes a mistake, they're correcting them and helping them and making sure they're getting better, just giving them a little pat on the back saying, hey, you got the next one. And so those are my impressions. Also, that our freshmen can hold their own, right? We played almost every freshman today, and they went out there and they held their own. Yeah, they had some, and they openly admitted in the locker room just now, like they were nervous, right? That was their first time ever playing another opponent in college, and so that's a big moment for anybody. And the way they kind of rose to that occasion, I'm really proud of them. We got work to do. We got film to learn from, but I think what we're capable of is greatness, and I'm just looking forward to getting to that point. Now it's going to take a lot of work, obviously, but I'm excited to do that work with this group.
Yeah, and finally, Sarah, obviously, although she is extremely familiar with this program and you familiar with coaching with her, to have her back, to add Cam to that role and having the three of you together really for the first time against an opponent wearing a different jersey.
Yeah.
Talk about what that was like, that dynamic, and how you see that evolving as the season continues.
Yeah, honestly, part of it was I felt like I was coaching them up a little bit during the match. Like I'd lean over to them and say, hey, maybe we don't say this that way, or maybe we change it this way, or hey, that was really good. Maybe you go talk to them and say what you're trying to say to me, to say to them. And so, just like any coaching staff, you got to continue to strive to be better. And what can you give to these athletes to make them better? And I thought Sarah did a great job. She always brings the energy, right? And Cam is really great for Lauren and Allie, our two setters, because she just came off the floor at our level. And we were talking last night with the setters' parents, and they were talking about how happy the setters have been with Cam. So I think we're doing things the right way. It's just, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're trying to build something great. We just got to understand it's going to take some time, and I think these girls are up for that challenge. I think they embrace that challenge. It's not something that we're kind of like dreading. When I was talking about conditioning and working hard next week, they were nodding their heads. They understood it. They recognize that, right? And that's the thing that's cool about this team is they see, an adversity or a challenge, and they face it head on. They don't try to avoid it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, no
And thank
problem.
you.
Sawyer. Good job, Sawyer.
I think like we knew coming in like this wasn't gonna be tough. There's a chance that we're probably not gonna win, and we gave it our all, and we had a lot of we learned a lot. Like, there was a lot of stuff that we took away, and I think even though we didn't like win a set, like we still gave it our all. I think we took so much from that still.
Yeah, just trying to cover the mic. Yeah.
Also, looking at it, I mean, Central, they started a week earlier than us. They're 2 weeks in, we're 1 week in. Just to see how well we can compete, even when we're a week behind, is pretty cool.
I think also, too, this team focuses a lot on, not looking at the score. And, even, like, actively during the match, we'd be like, don't focus on the score. Don't focus on, especially at the end, like the set score. And I think, we did a good job, especially in the first 2 sets, focusing on, little games to 5 throughout each set. And when we focus on that, I mean, you saw what the first 2 sets were like. So if we can just stick with that, I think throughout, especially our actual season, our conference season and whatnot, I mean, I have no doubt that we're going to go far. So
Yeah, the great teams do it every night, every day, every match, right? So talk about that third set. There were a few times where the energy got down a little bit because it's hard when you're playing in this environment, you're trying to keep the energy up for 3, 4, sometimes 5, however many sets, right? What do you say in those moments to try and get everyone locked back in and focused on that goal?
I think we really focus on our huddle. Our huddle, we take big pride in our huddle. Is we bring it in, we look at each other in the eyes, when no one's heads are down. We look at each other, say, take a break, reset. We know how we can play, and let's just do that. And then, I mean, there are going to be lulls. We just know we have to pick it up, and we're there for each other. I think that's the big thing for our team is we're close knit.
Trust.
Yeah, and we kind of remind ourselves, like, we know what we're capable of.
Yeah.
Like, we are a great team, and we know we can execute. We've done it before, and we just kind of remind each other of that.
yeah, I think we definitely have gotten good at recognizing when, the energy has gone down a little bit, and taking a second in the middle, and especially like among us leaders on the team, I think the underclassmen especially have been super receptive to that, so it's been good. But.
Year 1 to year 2, anything change about the island?
Our schedule, holy moly. Last year we just got here, we chilled for a little bit, then we played. This year we got all sorts
Lots
of things.
of
I mean,
fun
soccer
stuff.
match, theater,
Yeah.
more theater tonight. So
The
much.
gym was just so electric too. I mean, you wouldn't think that there's only like 200 people in there. Like, felt like Vandament on a Friday or Saturday.
With soccer, getting
Yeah.
in there. Talk
Yeah.
about them being on basically the top rope up top in the gym there and the energy they brought.
Oh my gosh, I just cannot thank them enough. Like, just throughout even seasons past, and I know for this upcoming season, like, we just have relentless support for each other. I mean, it's starting today and tonight at 5 p.m. So we're excited. We're gonna support them obviously as well.
So that
So.
was my last piece. After this soccer game, we get to watch some performances tonight. Maybe potentially be a part of one, and then obviously you get to enjoy a Saturday night in the island, and then a Sunday morning before you head back, and that's got to be, tough outcome in the gym, but you turn that into a great rest of the weekend on Mack.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So,
What are we looking forward to?
I mean, Mike keeps preaching, like, when we're in the gym, we're going to compete, we're going to go for the W, but once we're outside of it, we're going to enjoy the time here and just, I mean, it's a blessing to be on this island, and I mean, not everyone gets to do it, so it's pretty awesome.
Our next mission is just supporting NMU women's soccer to a dub. So yeah,
And swimming at the pool.
yeah, we're swimming at the Grand Hotel.
Grand Hotel, we get to go.
No Lake Huron?
Ooh, it
We
is
went
cold.
yesterday, it was very chilly.
It is cold and rocky.
I say not a lot of beaches. They're
No,
rock beaches.
yeah, it hurts
We
your
miss
feet.
Lake Superior, but so happy to be here.
Thank you guys. All set.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
I think like coming off the ferry, we had a better idea of first of all where we were going. Like last year, we took 2 separate turns, and like our team kind of split up. So we were all here at the same time. We were getting taped, like locked in, ready to go right when we got here.
Yeah, and I think being locked in and like ready to go, all of us on the same page, like carried over into the game. I think we were all on the same page. We all wanted to win, and we were all just here to like fight for each other.
Locked in, ready to go, but you guys had me. I was smiling pretty hard in that first set. Now we came locked in, ready to go as well. The Wildcats get out to a pretty hot start in that first set. Talk about you guys just settling in. I noticed serving on both sides, something that definitely I think you guys adjusted to as the sets went on. Obviously, the court dimensions don't change. What was it about this gym, this location in particular, that maybe you guys had to settle into?
I think it's a little different. Like this gym is a little smaller than what we're used to, like sideways and long ways. So like seeing the depth perception gets a little different. So just settling into that, we had kind of a shorter serve and pass. Getting off the ferry and like getting taped took a little longer than usual. So once we settled in after serve and pass, first set, second set, like started finding our groove a little bit.
I agree, and also like the presence of the fans with Northern having their whole soccer team and so many more fans than we did. We have our parents out there, but we had to realize that it didn't matter who was watching. It was just our game. We played for each other.
Yeah, and once you guys did find that groove, it was super evident. Some very timely timeouts called there, and a little bit of a change of momentum. That's what those are for, right? So, I guess give me the brief synopsis of what was said in those huddles and what got you guys, clicking on all cylinders.
I mean, mainly just talking about like settling down and like relaxing and knowing that like we're still in it, like no matter what the score was, and like kind of feeding off the energy of the crowd, even if they weren't exactly cheering for us. Like we were feeding off of that, and I think it kind of fired us up. And like we just talked about keeping calm and just playing our game.
We talk a lot in our gym, about like taking a deep breath after every point. So I think like once we started doing that and settling in a little bit, we did a lot better job staying calm.
This is the first time you guys have played someone in different colored uniform this year?
Yeah.
It is.
What did we like from what you guys saw? What got you excited about some potential for this specific squad?
Well, I think we're really physical, especially at the net. Like we have a lot of big blockers, so seeing that against different hitters is really nice, and especially hitters. I think they hit pretty high and deep, where we tend to go for like more trophy balls and short in the middle of the court. So seeing that and like how it affected off of our block was kind of interesting.
I really liked how we were able to stay the course, even though when things weren't going our way in that first set. I'm excited to see us keep doing that throughout the season, because I know we're not always going to be up in every game that we play. So I think just staying calm and staying that course that we had planned at the beginning.
I also think the way we adjusted to the opponent, because obviously we haven't seen them this year, and nobody has. So the way we just kept adjusting and noticing how they were changing and how we could switch up our block lineups or our defense.
Yeah, touch on that variability a little bit. Talk about the ball placement, right, on some of those different balls where you guys put them. And that was something I noticed, you're very unpredictable on the offensive side, is where you're going with this. If someone filming the game, it makes it difficult because I'm whipping the camera around and I'm not sure where this thing's going to end up. But talk about those sets going into it, the planning, and obviously the execution of those ball placements.
Yeah, so I think we did a really great job on serve receive today, which allows me to like set a bunch of different hitters.
I mean, I think it's pretty special that we get the opportunity to do this, and I think it's really awesome that we are continuing to do it, because I know last year everyone was really excited to come to the island, and we were just as excited to come back this year.
I want you to talk on it as a Michigander.
Yeah.
Am I the only?
Yeah, we're from Illinois.
Oh, dear. Okay, so I'm new this year. I'm a transfer, so I didn't come here last year. And when I heard that we got to play on the island, I was so fired up for that. I was thinking like, well, where are we?
Fired up, that's good. I'm not gonna let that slide. That was solid.
I
She
was
said that
so
right in
fired
there.
up for that. It's become my new phrase. But I just never heard of anyone playing on the island. I guess I could have thought about it and figured there was at least one school here. But yeah, I think it's just such a privilege to get to play here, because what are we, the only two teams that get to play here all year?
I think so.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm fired up for that too. So, yeah, I think that's just awesome, and everyone from Michigan is probably jealous of us. So.
Absolutely. Michigan and elsewhere. Thank you guys very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you so much.